Non-league, a fat grey-haired centre-back and a player turning up without shin pads versus the Football League, an ex-Prem player and a £10 million soon-to-be Arsenal player. And yet, we were the ones who looked amateur. This is TalkPosh. Hello and welcome to TalkPosh, sponsored by our friends at the Serpentine Green Shopping Centre over in Hampton. Tonight we once again try to work out how we can lose to teams that are on paper worse than us. We hear from not one but three opposition supporters, including Mr. Wimbledon himself, Ivor Heller. Thank you. We find out who you think is the worst goalkeeper in Posh history, plus we keep an eye out on the FA Cup second round draw. Despite being Cup week, we decided to go for a full-strength lineup in the studio tonight. Evening, boys.
Good evening.
If you want to contact the studio, then comment on below, or if you're watching on YouTube, comment on Twitter at TalkPosh. Okay, so an incredibly unlucky draw on Saturday against a team who had the game plan of shutting up shop, putting the long ball into the channels and playing for a draw. Well, that's what the Tranmere fans' view of the game will be. Anyway, before we dissect our performance, let's hear what Tranmere fan Paul Burrows thought of it.
Wow, my voice has just about recovered from yesterday. It was fantastic being in the away end of a proper stadium again. I thought as a team performance, fantastic. Really bit disappointed, really. We didn't snatch it in the end there. That Ollie Norburn shot could have been a better shot, actually. I think the keeper was flat-footed. But really, really positive at the way we played. Not sure why Posh didn't exploit our weaknesses. Three really slow centre-halves, didn't get up there and fight us. So it gave us space in midfield, really. And our lads really stepped up to the plate and showed what good players they are, really. They're probably below their level. And actually, they can't perform like that when sides in the conference just sort of, just try and nail you. So really happy with the performance. Great that Cookie got a goal. Fantastic in the way end. Took my wife and kids. They loved it. Replay's going to be dead interesting, isn't it? I'm not sure how each team will take it, but I'm confident we can get a win.
Yeah, so that was a point of view of Paul, who is a Tranmere fan. To be fair, I think he's going to go away disappointed after that. I honestly thought they played exceptionally well. But we also played very, very poor. Let's start with Chris. What on earth happened on Saturday? What do you make of it all, mate?
Where to start, really? I mean, looking at some of the players who played against Shrewsbury, it was like they were a completely different person coming out against Tranmere. I think Doherty probably had one of the worst games I've ever seen him play. Probably having the best game of his career with us so far at Shrewsbury.
Who got voted man of the match on Saturday?
Go on.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that pairing in the middle there just didn't seem to work. We were flooded in the midfield, never seemed to control anything. Guion, Madison, Marriott, that combination up front just didn't strike it off. Leo looked lost again on the right after, I thought, having a good game against Shrewsbury. In all fairness, I think the keeper was unlucky with the goal and that. He dove down and it deflected up and went in and out. I think, aside from that, he probably had an alright game. But, yeah, how we can be so Jekyll and Hyde in our performance is just beyond me.
It is one of the main things, isn't it? Especially this season, actually, and from the past few seasons, inconsistencies are a worry. We played a team that I thought at the start, or I thought before the game, that we were just going to walk over. I think most of us predicted, or we actually went for the bet of the week to be 5-0. They came down here and they played really well.
I think, obviously, Tranmere, not that long ago, being a league team, they've got experience, got a bit of knowledge. They should have. I don't even know where to start, mate. To be fair, on paper, as you say, we should have hammered them. We really should have hammered them. And if we had the team playing the way we did against Shrewsbury, it would have been 5-6-0. As you said, Jekyll and Hyde. We was, every man. Well, shit. Sorry about the 50p or quid, whatever it is this week, but
10.
Everybody was shocking. It was just, honestly, so damn beat about it. I've said many times, I can handle getting beat, I can handle bad draws or whatever, if we perform well. It was just lacklustre. It was flat. It was boring. It was, Embarrassing.
I know it's no excuse, but the game that obviously we'll cover tomorrow was brought up before Saturday. So the club were even talking about the Cambridge game, how big it is, etc. Now, if you look back previously, they never look one step ahead. And it's just something that I've noticed. So they were actually already talking about Cambridge before the Tranmere game. And is that in the back of their minds? Because
why? Yeah, but why?
It shouldn't be.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. But
what you're saying that the game tomorrow night is a bigger game than the game on Saturday?
I feel like that's the way the club have pushed it. Yes. And obviously, I said to you last week, and I mean, I was the only one in the room that said I wouldn't be too disappointed if we went out. I don't want to say that that's what the club have planned to do, because I don't think they have at all. Because the team that you put out,
judging by that display on Saturday,
judging by the team we named, you know, we didn't want to come out of the Garda Cup. We wanted to win it. We wanted to win that game at Cantor. I think the last thing we wanted is a replay at Tranmere.
Yeah, that is the worst thing.
I didn't understand one thing though. If you're going to play a completely consistent team, why did he put O'Malley in? Because I always assumed O'Malley was going to be starting against Cambridge. You'd think that'd be the best game to put him in. If you're going to go full strength, and we've been given permission to play Jonathan Bond. Not that O'Malley's to blame for anything. A few people at the time were sort of trying to say that he had a weak wrist for the goal, but after watching it back, the bounce took it off him, so there was nothing he could have done about it.
We say weak wrist for the goal, you know. I think we've got Alex behind here can teach him how to strengthen his wrist up. Moving forward. Well, God, it's a bit flat. Let's sort of pride.
But I didn't understand why O'Malley was playing that game. I would have played Bond and waited till, like I say, Tuesday night. I'm still expecting to see O'Malley on Tuesday night, to be honest.
Yet again, because O'Malley hasn't played since the Northampton game, throwing him in tomorrow for his first game in a month, I just feel like, honestly, I've just got this funny feeling that the club have hyped tomorrow more than Saturday and kind of forgot about it.
The club have hyped it up or the fans have hyped it up?
Probably a bit of both.
Just going back to Saturday's game, the players, there was just, I didn't see there was any discipline. Not that type of discipline, not getting booked or red card or whatever, but positional discipline. Who was actually playing up front? Marriott, obviously.
Yeah,
you know,
just him, really.
If Madison was playing up front, which he has done for a few weeks, then why wasn't he playing up front rather than wandering? Or if it was Guion, can't say his name, was up front, why didn't he stay up there? It's just nothing there. It seemed like we was playing one up top against.
So would you have said in the last obviously 5 minutes when we had all the strikers we've got at the club on the pitch, would you say that we looked fantastic in the last 5 minutes?
We looked shocking.
There we go. So. And we did. I thought. I mean, Idris had that chance when he came on, and he took 15 years to.
He shouldn't have missed. No, his age isn't a factor in that. He should not have missed that target. He had far too much time. He took far too much time.
There was an opportunity Madison had as well, where he should have struck it on his right and tried to control it and get some sort of position on his left.
But then Guion. I mean, Guion had the easiest chance of the game. If he had put that away, we wouldn't be sat here talking the way we are now.
We wouldn't, but in my eyes, and it's just another worrying thing that you have all three strikers on the pitch at one time against a non-league side. Even with 8-9 minutes left to go, we should be at least creating some chance with three of them on the pitch.
Yeah, but you know, the main thing about the game I felt was that Tranmere actually, towards the end, they didn't shut up shop, did they? They kept on going. Yeah. They were actually the team that were looking for the win on Saturday.
Yeah. But it's
and for some reason, obviously. But okay, so why? Yeah, and I guess that was going to be one of my questions tonight: is why can't we be, or we seem to be this season, the lower or the so-called on paper lower league teams, and a non-league team on Tranmere?
Is it arrogance?
I think it's arrogance. I think it's something up there.
Or is it the same thing? Why do we beat teams perceived to be better than us? Like Wigan, Shrewsbury. Why did we beat them? Because we raised our game for the better teams. They see us as a better team. They raised their game in the same way against us.
Yes, they did. But on the flip side, they raised their game and they did look half decent to be fair to them. But let's look at our own performance. It was shocking. It was embarrassing.
It was
absolutely. Yeah. You can't even. There was no positives to take out of that game at all.
I agree 100% with you. I think that Tranmere obviously got into the game underdogs, and they came with a plan. And that was a really good plan, not to be scared of the opposition. But we were absolutely shocking on Saturday.
What do we change for next Wednesday?
Well, you were at the youth team game as well, weren't you?
Yeah.
After watching Kanu in that game, Would you have brought him in or someone else on?
We know who we'd have brought on when it just came on. You know, it doesn't take a rocket science.
Yeah, that just struck me that after his youth team performance in midweek, I would have given Miller a start over him.
I've got to go with some of the Delbangs on about each week as well. Why did Lloyd not get a
Yeah, I agree with that.
I thought, you're taking someone off on that week. Lloyd would have been an obvious replacement rather than changing up the formation.
Even, right, obviously I'm taking a piss here, but even having Junior on with one leg and crutches, I think would put more of an effort in than some of the players.
Yeah. And he's not on crutches anymore.
He's not on crutches, that is
back
good.
on his bike now.
But, if the players put half as much effort into what Junior has to get him fit again, mate, we'd be flying. It just winds me up. You wind me up.
So Junior's been out for 6 weeks and we've won one game.
I actually feel sorry in a way for McCann, because the team put in a performance like they do against Shrewsbury. They've obviously worked hard during the week for him, and he's stuck with that team when he could have made a load of changes, and that's how they've gone and repaid him.
Okay, so you feel sorry for McCann though, but surely he's to blame. He's got to take some of the blame. He picks the players, he picks the formation, and he picks the tactics.
Yes and no. You've got to blame him, but you can't blame him. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Because you've got the same players. Last week, superb. Yeah. That 10, forget about a goalkeeper, that 10 player, they played the finder, all of them. You couldn't pick a man of the match, superb. Why are those same players playing a few days later so bad? Is that the manager's fault?
Well, it could well be, because sorry, Chris, but what was his tactics? Now, my tactics would have been, look at their three slow centre-halves, right? Especially grey-haired fat guy, which was, by the way, he was brilliant.
I thought he was a bit of disrespect to that because he was quite good.
No, I think he was good, but I'm just saying, that's what he looked like. So when I saw him, I thought, he ain't going to be decent, but he was. Okay, why do we then try and play the big ball up top? Why do we then try and play the ball into channels? Why not try and turn him around so he has to run back, knacker him out? Surely he ain't got the fitness of some of our lads.
He ain't, but you see, he done quite a lot of sprints back, didn't he? To clear the ball, got back up again.
Yeah, but not as many.
First ball out we were as well. So Woking or bury away if we beat Tranmere. So it's not another
Woking or bury away if we beat Tranmere.
Please be Woking.
I was going to say
if we beat Tranmere,
we've got buried the end of January, so it's just. But, and that's something. So we need to change our game against Tranmere in the second round replay to be granted with a tie of Woking or bury away. So it's.
Yeah, let me just quickly go to Facebook and just see what people are saying. Paul Burrows, the Tranmere fan. He says he didn't think we raised our game that much, just given the freedom and no lose scenario, which the players don't get most weeks. So they were given a bit more freedom maybe on the ball than they're usually used to. Paul said we have something to prove against the bigger clubs. Underdog syndrome, can't handle being favourites. It has to be the way that they are coached, attitude of players towards certain teams. They need to put team status aside and play every game to win.
It's professional footballers. I should be giving it all every week, not when I can be bothered.
Well, it says it all, the fact that Grant won the man of the match, and yet even he was putting passes, he was passing it to them.
He looked like
not deliberately, but
No, he didn't know.
He had a really off day, and usually if Grant and Guion are on form, our midfield really clicks.
He did. He looked like a headless chicken, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was chasing everything at the wrong time. It was just all over. It was just a shambles. It was pathetic.
If we take that game in isolation, obviously a really poor result against a team from non-league. But it's yet another I was about to say a defeat. Yet another poor game against another team, and this season just seems to be a bit of an occurrence here. It's happened so many times this season. What can we do about it, boys? What can we do? What can McCann do to change the mentality of his team, to get away from this poor run of form that we're on?
Start by winning tomorrow from a massive thing. And that, I think, even though we will cover it, I think it'll be a big boost to the whole club.
It's not to do with the cup tomorrow. It's not to do with advancing in the cup or even getting to Wembley. Tomorrow is about, we've got a derby which the other side of it aren't taken seriously. The fact we're going to outnumber them at home, even irrelevant of what the cup is a complete and utter joke.
It will do stuff for the club, but it will do stuff for the city. I think tomorrow, even though it is a checker trump game,
So you think if we get a good result tomorrow, it's going to spark our season? It's going to go from there?
I think
obviously it needs to.
Oh no, it needs to.
Obviously, it needs to.
in the supporters' eyes, it will give the supporters a massive
Yeah.
lift. The ones who are travelling there are going to get a huge lift if we walk away from there with a victory.
On the flip side, what happens if we lose?
Yeah, exactly. That was a very good point, mate. Do you want to take my job?
Well, no, because what's going to happen is I ain't going to work on Wednesday for a start off. Obviously, working in Cambridge.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a bit later, but hold that thought for later because I think that's a really good question to ask and say what would happen because, heads. I was going to bring this up tonight, what happens at Grant McCann? What happens?
I think even if we get relegated with Grant McCann this season, he'll still be here.
You got to keep. What's the point of keep swapping and changing? Everybody's got to learn somewhere. I don't get all this. What West Ham, absolute legend of Billy, whatever his name is.
Bilic, yeah.
They just sacked him today. Some teams need a little bit longer with a manager to get the success out of them.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I get that. I would stick with McCann myself,
Without that.
but if we are below 15th, 16th on Christmas, which isn't an impossibility, it was McAntony's words that said, didn't he say at some point?
Yeah, it was last year.
He would have until Christmas at least. Now, if we don't perform at all and we don't lose and run until then, there's a chance he could be gone. I would hope not. I think we need to stick with him.
I hate to bang on about what I said earlier on there, but McCann's hands are almost tied. If he's getting a performance out of the team one week and then the same players
What can
are
you do?
doing that, he can't do more than that, can he?
All you can do is change.
If he'd have
Choice of
made
players, isn't it?
6 changes or something going into the Tranmere
Oh,
game,
fair enough.
that would have been, that would have been fair enough. Giving some people in the squad a go, he might have felt those guys who put in the performance against Shrewsbury would have thought, well, what's the point? Because I'm not getting to play week in, week out.
Quite radical. I'd like to bring something in for all teams, not just Peterborough, where you find the players. If they ain't performed, you don't play them.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think we will do. I'm quite interested to see what everyone thinks at home about this. Because it seems like a lot of people in the studio are going along the lines of that. It's the players at the moment they're not performing. 1 week they can, 1 week they're not. So maybe it's the mentality. So is it that, or is it more Grant McCann? Is there an issue? What do you think at home, Grant McCann or the players, or is it a bit of both? Just let us know. I feel it'll be really interesting.
The season, we had all this togetherness that was looked from our point of view like we'd not seen before. Now, where's that togetherness gone? Because you could see how
It re-emerged at Shrewsbury and then disappeared again.
which
That inconsistency.
it's like you going to work one day. I mean, obviously, I know they only do it once a week. It's like you going to work on a Monday, start performing, and going on a Tuesday, tired, and basically doing a Dell and doing nothing. But you just do that.
Watching today.
Probably
It's not true.
playing basketball and soccer kick-ups, but it's
I can only get to 9.
I couldn't get. But it's I just don't know. I don't know what's going on. Like I say, we're middle of November now. It's starting to get to that point where with 16 points off the top of the league, there's a little stretch going on, and it makes our next league game massive. And when you have 2 cup games in the middle of a good league performance, it could have thrown them.
I was just looking down the list of things to talk about tonight, and there's one other thing that I want to talk about. I've got down here Miller and Carnu. I put down here, are they good enough?
I've not seen enough of Miller to say if he's good enough or not.
Have you not? How many games? Come on.
What I've seen, he ain't been great, but I'm not going to write him off. We keep rapping on in the past about Craig Maxwell-Smith, slow starter, become a legend. Miller started off really, really slow. He may turn good, but I don't think he's been given enough game time. Something's happened in the background, whatever it is, I don't know, but there's something not right there.
So you're saying that if Miller not good enough, so yes, he hasn't scored goals, which is what he's paid for. But when Maxwell-Smith came back last season, I think I read it took him 8 games to get that 100th goal.
Yeah, but Maxwell-Smith's not exactly the player he was previously.
But when he got that 100th goal, he went on.
He got 3 or 4
But that's Maxwell-Smith though. We're talking about Ricky Miller.
People are slating Miller at the minute for not doing his job and not scoring goals. He's still putting the effort in, isn't he? I just think once Miller gets one, I'm just comparing it to Maxwell-Smith because once he got 1, he got 2, he got 3, he got 4. And every time he looked,
we're just not going to know until he gets that first goal, are we? I mean, it's obviously a confidence player. You can see it. I mean, a goal for him will do him the world of good. We've been saying it, but he's got to be given the chance now. Once again, tomorrow night is the sort of night.
But how long can Grant McCann keep on trying to give him that chance, though?
Well, I don't know. If he's not improving, we're back at Dover on loan.
Exactly, and that's the thing, and that's what, and I guess, and that's the issue. And then I also think it's the issue with Kanu. I think people are saying about Kanu as well. You watched the youth game. What was he like in that game?
He had the best chances of, from your 100%, because Dallas had it, a poor youth team from us. Cambridge were upper level in that youth cup.
Really?
They also had a left back who could possibly be playing for them again tomorrow night. It was head and shoulders above everyone on the pitch.
That one would really be fluffy.
The afro,
yeah. It was, but like I say, Kanu had the better chances in that game, missing headers from 3 yards out, and it was just, he should have been, that one in the first half should have been.
So would you say Kanu should go out on loan?
I don't think Kanu should go out on loan, because...
Really?
Well, that leaves it with Ricky and Moed, doesn't it?
Yeah, but January's coming up.
Yeah.
It is.
January's coming up.
Okay, potentially if Junior's back by January, and Idris gets a chance to play week in, week out, then yeah.
But he's not in favour of McCann, though, is he? Because he's playing Madison up the top, as opposed to playing Miller, as opposed to playing Kanu. So really, he's not in his. Doesn't look like it. He's in his immediate plans.
Yeah, I thought that Kanu shouldn't go out on loan originally, but he's been given a chance. He's had a run. It's his first chance at proper football league level.
He's 17.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we doing?
To be honest,
but we all keep saying about age, though, mate. Every week we say age shouldn't make a difference.
It shouldn't when it comes to chances like the one he had the other day. I probably think that he probably could do with a spell somewhere a little lower down, not far. A league or two.
But why should he go for a spell when we signed him from a team just below? Surely he's already got that bit of experience, so what's the point of signing him and sending him back on?
He's never had first team experience there, though, had he?
Yeah.
But it might give him a bit more game. It might give him more game time, though. Because he's not getting it.
Yeah.
Right, let's just have a quick look what's going on. I think I just saw something from Tommy Roberts. He says, I genuinely shocked that people are surprised with the way we played against Tranmere. Serious problem of recent years at Posh, not being able to raise our game against lower league teams. Pretty much said that going forward. He also said the Miller situation is a joke. Everyone's hero before we kick the ball, now being written off. Have to laugh at Posh fans. Let players develop. Quite interesting commenter.
I'm still happier to have Miller and Kanu in the squad than someone like Nichols.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah.
Although Nichols has scored 2 in 2, to be fair.
Well, he's on fire. On fire.
Told you we'd miss him.
They're gifting them to him now because of that side. WhatsApp. Yeah.
Still missed penalty.
But anyway, it was a disappointing.
Absolutely disappointing result, and replay on Wednesday, whatever the date is. So not. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on then. So 2 games coming up. We travel to the rivals tomorrow before playing the real Dons on Sunday. Before we look at these games and hear from a Hughes fan and Ivor Heller, let's play our ever so popular Knowing the Opposition quiz.
Looking forward to
Okay, so 10 questions about our opposition. 2 teams in Team Bench and Team Adele. Okay, are we ready to play, boys?
We are.
More than ready. After last week's mess up.
Good stuff. Right then. So, I'm going to keep note of the score as well.
Yeah,
you might be pleased with that. So, I'm going to give Team Bench the opportunity. Did they? Did they?
Yeah.
Okay. Team Adele.
We want to go second.
Do you want questions A or questions B?
Go question B.
Okay, you've got full 5 questions about AFC Wimbledon.
That's probably better because Ben will know everything about them.
Okay, question number 1. Easy question. What team do both us and AFC Wimbledon hate?
MK Dons.
Correct.
Who? MK who?
MK.
Milton Keynes Dons.
Well, that's
Keep saying Dons.
Dons. They are located in Buckinghamshire.
Oh,
Good, you got it right.
Did I? Thank you, I got it right, see.
And you've got all 5 questions about Cambridge. Easy question. Who are the pride of Cambridgeshire?
You can answer.
The Posh. Correct. Good. 1-1. Right. Question number 2. Managers. So the current manager, Neil Ardley, played for Wimbledon 245 times from 1991 to 2002. But Which other London club did he finish his career at?
Any idea? Let's take an educated guess.
Brentford is ringing a bell for me. Or Leighton Orient.
Well, Leighton Orient knocked my head.
Let's go there.
Leighton Orient then.
Incorrect. Passes over.
I was going to
That's
say
gonna like-
Orient or
Yeah.
Barnet.
Barnet could be a good guess then.
That's a that Orient, so Barnet.
Incorrect. It was Millwall. Okay, managers for you then, boys. There's been a lot of managers that have managed and played for both of us and them, including the great man himself, Chrissy Turner. But what former Posh player who made 44 appearances for us was their caretaker manager in 2009?
Right, they've had a few. There was.
I know.
No, they know.
I don't know.
It's one of those two, but
So did you in a minute.
44 appearances. So I'm going to say he was full time. So Lee Power.
Incorrect.
That's what I was going to
Can we
go.
keep passing it until
Right.
one of us gets it?
Cardan.
Correct. Correct, mate. Well done. Good stuff. Okay, so where are we? Former players. So which former Posh midfielder played for AFC Wimbledon in 2 spells, on loan in 2008 and permanently in 2015?
Well done. I'll put it for a bit, but 2008.
Well, what?
Producer it.
Let's
Well, I know, but go.
do it.
Chris Webber.
Incorrect.
Is it Kwasi Apaya?
It is.
Incorrect.
No, because it's about Wimbledon, isn't it?
Of course it is.
Oh no, sorry.
No, you
No,
have your chance.
No.
We'll leave it there because otherwise we're just going to carry on. It was Alfie Potter.
Oh, well, I was thinking of anyway.
So former players for Cambridge, Holmes under the Hammer presenter Dion Dublin played 156 times for them, scoring 52 goals before moving to Man United. But what club was he at when he finished his playing career? I see people at home, they are thrilled by this quiz.
Did he go to somewhere after?
I don't think
I
he's out.
honestly don't. I'd go with one of the ones you said.
That's
I
right,
don't
it was,
remember
right.
anything else.
Let's just go Villa.
Incorrect.
There we go. That throws our piss.
Wickham.
Incorrect. It was Norwich.
Yeah, it did as well.
Right.
Scores on the doors.
Your score.
Cause on doors is cause on the what?
Cause on the doors.
It's 2-1 to you.
Okay.
Okay. So
They've got
back
Villa
to you.
as well.
We
Everyone's
first
got
played AFC Wimbledon 9th of August 2006 in the League Cup.
Villa.
Okay, so AFC Wimbledon.
Hang on.
We
2006.
We first played AFC Wimbledon in 2016. Sorry, in the
I was
League
going
Cup.
to say, yeah.
Sorry,
right,
we
yeah.
won
I know
3-2.
this, I know this.
We won 3-2. Who scored a brace that game?
Tom
Nichols.
Tom Nichols. He
Scored in
did.
the 90th minute.
What a player. 3-1. Okay, boys. We last played Cambridge at home on 8th of September 2001, winning 1-0. But who scored our goal?
What year?
2001.
Yeah, it was him.
Who?
Is it David McDonald?
It is.
Gary McDonald.
No.
Yeah.
McDonald.
Yeah, it's McDonald. It's Gary McDonald, so I'll give you the point at 3-2.
Do you know who was referee that game?
No.
Uri Rennie.
Was it? You are Rennie?
And
Was
do you know
it?
who was ref? Well, in fact, we'll come back to that.
Should we get a bonus point for
Hey,
that?
hang on. So it's 3-2. Final question. In which year were AFC Wimbledon formed?
2002.
Correct. 4-2. Nothing to play for. In which year were Cambridge formed?
1912.
1912. He's got it right on the money.
Really?
So 4-3 to Team Adele. Well done, boys.
Chuggins.
Yeah, no, just very quick, while I was on that. When we last played Cambridge in 2001 in December, when we were at their place, do you know who was referee that game? Mike Dean. Look how far he's gone. League 2 or Division 2 at that time, weren't it?
Good stuff. Right, we need to move on because we need to rattle through previewing the next 2 games. So we travel to Hughes tomorrow. Some are excited, I think. Others couldn't care less about the competition. But before we chat, let's hear from Connor about how they are getting on this season.
Hi, my name is Connor. I'm representing Yabba, and I'll be talking about Cambridge ahead of our Checker Trade Trophy game with Peterborough on Tuesday. Right, so Cambridge this season, we've been inconsistent at best. We've had games against Coventry and Colchester where we've performed really well and put in great performances, but we've also followed up with pathetic woeful performances against the likes of Wickham and against Barnet. Recent form shows that we are 5 games unbeaten and that we have won 3 of those and drawn the other 2. We are currently 11th with 24 points in the table, just outside the playoff spots. Players to watch. I would say that the key player for us tomorrow would be Giovanni Brown, who's a young central attacking midfielder who joined from St Neots Town in the summer. He links up well with the attackers. He's a very creative midfielder, and he's also got a very good long shot on him, so he will be quite dangerous during the game. Another player that I would say is someone to look out for would be our fullback Bradley Halliday, who's been a key player in our defence, as well as our veteran goalkeeper David Ford. As you guys might know, the Checker Trade Trophy is something a bit controversial in England, and it has been shown with very low attendances in many games throughout the country. But from what I've been hearing from Sean Derry, Dave Doggett, Jez George, that it's not just a Checker Trade Trophy game, it is a Cambridge Peterborough game. It is the first game between these 2 rivals in 16 years in a competitive fixture. The pride of Cambridgeshire is at stake, so it is going to be very important. Sadly, I can't make it, but for you guys going, I hope you have a great time out and may the best team win. Thank you very much.
Yep, you go. Thanks go to Cambridge fan there, Connor. He must have been cold filming that in his house with his scarf on. But like I said earlier, some people are going to the game tomorrow, some people aren't. Some people are saying, as you did earlier, it's quite a big. It could be a quite big turning point in the season. Just really, really quickly, because we want to move on to the AFC Wimbledon game. What do we all think about tomorrow's game?
I'm looking forward to it. I'm not really a big fan of this new Checker Trade Trophy format with the Premier B teams, whatever. However, it's Cambridge, and we haven't played them since 2001. Well, I believe it is. I'm taking my kids. They've never seen a derby game as such. Obviously, been to the Cobblers, but I'm looking forward to it. I just hope we don't get beat.
No, I'm really, like I say, I mean, obviously, last time we played them 16 years ago, I was only 9, so I can't actually remember much then. It's, like I said to you earlier, it could do something good for the club. It's not a Checker Trade game tomorrow in my eyes. We can have 1,000 fans there on a Tuesday night, which is a good for and much yet again. And looking at it, we're going to outnumber the home fans. Cambridge actually put on their official website earlier that they need the support.
Yeah, they were begging fans to turn up.
Really begging fans to turn up tomorrow, because it looks like we're going to sell out, because we can actually buy tickets up until 12 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. To go, I just think it'll be a good atmosphere as well. Like I say, it should be a good day, and I'm looking forward to it.
Ben?
Yeah, exactly the same. I can only reiterate what they said. It's not really a league match. It's irrelevant what cup it's in. Tomorrow is purely about pride and coming out of the game with a win.
I think it's a one-off game for the pride of Cambridge.
The other thing is because it's quite a local game on a Tuesday evening, it gives quite a few people an opportunity to actually go to a game.
No, you're absolutely right, and I think that it's. I think a lot of people should go to the game,
right?
Who haven't got other commitments. Just an in-joke there. Anyway, Chris, what do you think of tomorrow night, mate? And also, would you play the likes of Ricky Miller?
It's a must-win, I think. Like they said, ignore the fact that what competition it's in, just get a win. If I was McCann, I'd put out the same 11. Well, bar the goalkeeper, I'd put out the same 11 and make a man.
That's McCann. I'd make myself player manager.
I'd say, look, you probably would have got rested for this game. You're not getting rested anymore. Go out and prove your worth.
Like it. Daniel Wade says Cambridge game to lose. He thinks we will lose based on our recent form. Paul says, looking forward to it. Something to take away from the league at the moment. It's quite interesting. Yeah, get a good result. Can take that into our league form. Correct. And then Lee said, biggest game of the decade. He says, very interesting. Right, we're going to move on. We have to rattle through these quickly. We play the real Dons on Sunday in front of the Sky camera, and Ben spoke to Mr. Wimbledon himself, Ivor Heller, on the phone about the Dons' season so far.
Cutting to the chase, we are over 3 months into the season. How would you describe Wimbledon's start and your recent form going into Sunday's game?
Oh, right, okay. Well, recent form has been patchy. One day we've been really good. We beat Rotherham 3-1 and they were fourth in the league at the time. We annihilated them and it was a really good game and a great attacking performance. Other times we're struggling to score as many goals as we'd like to score at the moment. Defensively we're pretty sound. Although like all teams at this level, we've all got a mistake in us every now and again. So with some of the attacking flair that you guys have got, it's going to be very interesting on Sunday.
Yeah. With you saying that, does it give you hope at all that despite the perceived pessimism about the game from some of the Wombles fans on my because I run an MK site, anti-MK site, should I say, there's a lot of comments, there's a lot of posh on it, a lot of Wombles on it, and a lot of them are very pessimistic about this game. But if you've been watching posh at all, you know, despite us beating Shrewsbury and Wigan, we have been very, very underperforming against sides in the lower tier. I mean, we went down to Oldham and Southend consecutively, and other teams have beaten us. Where we seem to raise our game to the better clubs, but against the lower clubs, we don't. Does that give you any hope going into the match?
Oh, 100%. That's exactly what we do. Yeah, we seem to play better against the better teams. So yeah, it does give me hope. I also think that some of the pessimism is, it's a vocal minority that on the internet and get to say what they want quite freely and openly without really knowing what the full circumstances are half the time. And so you have to listen to everybody and the voices of reason around the club, and there are a lot of them are that okay, well, we're having a tough time, but we've got a terrible injury crisis which we've never faced before as a league club. Not like this. And, get our players back fit. We've got a good squad, we know we have.
Oh, brilliant. Well, on that basis, having watched AFC this season, because I get down to a couple of games this season, I was really impressed with that 17-year-old Anthony Hartigan. How far do you think the lad can go, and how much do we need to pay for him?
Yeah, well, one, I don't think he's for sale right now. Two, you can never really tell at 17. He's, to me, he looks like a fantastic talent. I believe that he'll get stronger and he'll get better. He'll cut out some of the silly mistakes that he makes at the moment. And as soon as he does that, I think that we'll be kissing his backside goodbye and he'll be into the championship. And if he does well there, then who knows? To me, it reminds me of Michael Carrick, the way he plays the game. And that's not a bad comparison, is it?
I think that's a fair assessment. Having seen him the other week, he did come across as very composed in the centre for a 17-year-old.
Unbelievable.
Who has been the standout player so far this season, do you think?
Oh, right, okay. To me, and I'm biased, I'll say this, I'll put this right out there, I'm absolutely biased. The player that I've been most pleased to see doing well this season is Will Nightingale.
Yeah.
He's another one. I'm absolutely convinced that if Will hadn't have suffered with the kind of injuries that he has over a long period, we'd have lost him by now. So, he's a man that plays with a big heart. He's got a massive heart and continually you'll always get 100% from him, no matter what, no matter how bad things get. You can always rely on Will to 100% try his best.
Oh, brilliant. And finally, do you have a score prediction for Sunday at all?
If we can keep this a nil, we've got a chance of winning. There we are.
That's why to look at it.
Yeah. And as with this division and a lot of other divisions, but score first, season scores first, normally comes out on top. And And I think that's very much the case for us. So hopefully that will happen. Hopefully we won't wait too long for it. But more than anything, I'm absolutely sure it'll be a really good game. So it always is when we play you guys.
Brilliant. Right. That's fantastic. Thanks again, Ivor. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Anytime. All right.
It's done. Good. Cheers, Ivor.
Ivor Heller, thank you for the time for that. He's the commercial director at Wimbledon. He's been there since the start of the reformed version. Thank you.
Yeah, cheers for that. Just really, really quickly, we're going to do the prediction league in a second, but Wimbledon game, it's got to be a must-win, boys, isn't it? You know, it's at their ground, but who cares? We need to get back to winning ways, boys.
Well, yeah, especially after going there last year having a 0-0 draw, and it wasn't very entertaining. We need to get back into the winning ways in the league. We need to think that our last league game was Shrewsbury. We've had the 2 cup games in the middle, scrap them, because by the time we get to there, we need to forget about them. And we need to just go to Wimbledon. We need to perform. Luckily, touch wood, we've actually been alright on Sky recently.
There's grass.
What's underneath here then?
No, that's soil.
And if we lose,
and if we lose against Wimbledon, and lose tomorrow night as well, then
it's going to be a pretty miserable show next week, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, we'll move on then. Prediction League. Our Prediction League is now sponsored by Serpentine Green, and they have also kindly donated the prize, what will be for the winner of the Prediction League at the end of the season. And it's this year's shirt. It's all signed up by the players. So thank you very much to Steve for sorting that out from Serpentine Green. Chris, you can explain what's going on this week, mate. Any winners? Anyone predicted that would draw 1-1 with?
No, I don't think anyone really went prediction of the score. I think everyone was confident we'd win. Just those lucky people that have gone for Marriott to get the first goal, really, getting the odd point here and there.
Fair enough. So who we got at the top of the moment? We've got can't see that Levi. I think he's in top. Nassif has gone into second. Chris, TalkPosh Chris, you're in third, mate. So good stuff. Keep your predictions coming in. Remember, it's a great prize, so keep them coming in. So we're going to go for, we're going to go for the AFC Wimbledon game.
Keep it just the one. So like I say, I'll put the tweet out later tonight, but it would just be predicting for the Wimbledon game.
Del.
4-2.
Right. Is this the one he always predicts?
Yep, and this one at Madison. But let's see if Miller plays well tomorrow night.
You can't change it.
I've got until 10 o'clock Friday night.
Oh, yeah, that's true, actually.
But no, I'll go 4-2 and I'll go Madison.
Okay, Adam.
1-0 Guion.
Ben.
1-0 Madison.
Chris.
4-3.
Guion. I'm
4-3 to who?
Posh.
I'm going 2-1 Posh Marriott. Good stuff. So that was Prediction League. Remember to look out for the tweet from Adam later
Should we
on.
just quickly do in our Cambridge tomorrow night?
Cambridge tomorrow night, we will win 2-0.
19-17.
You twat. 3-1.
4-0.
0-0.
Thrilling game from
Who
Chris.
wins on penalties?
Yeah, he wins on penalties.
Well, let's see who's the closest.
Good stuff. Okay, we have got a 9-dart challenge for you actually this week, but this one came into us late, only about a couple of hours ago. It's from a viewer. They sent it into us. So if anyone else wants to get involved, here we go.
Hi, I'm Jake. This is TalkPosh 9-dart challenge.
Hello. Anyone else quizzing before we get started? Don't quizzing. Now you want to. Oh. Maybe a little bit full of Spanish-related questions as well.
Score.
Good stuff. That was Jake, and Jake gets 179. So really, he goes top of the non-professionals. So well done, Jake. Good stuff. Right, moving on then. This is my favourite bit. I'm loving this at the moment. This is the new TalkPosh 1 to 11, and it's the worst players that we've seen in Posh shirts. Now,
Sponsored by Emerald.
it is sponsored. It is sponsored by Emerald. I've lost my train of thought. Right, what we saying?
No, down to 4.
So basically, what we do, we put a tweet out, then you suggest or you nominate that could be the worst one. And last week it was the goalkeepers. You nominated Scott Cooksey, Bart Gremick, Joe Lewis, and Joe Neenan. Now we put a.
Do you know what? Right.
I think he's just seen that. By the way, just late on. That was quite late.
Right, if anybody knows how to do photography or audio, give us a shout because we're looking for somebody.
That's his happy face as well.
Wow.
Sorry, I didn't.
Did you see that? I was just thinking, what's going on about?
Back to the ones with Evan.
Yeah, anyway, so that's brilliant. So, so we narrowed it down. We put the poll out there. And you voted, and I'm pretty sure Dell must have voted like 200 times because you're quite happy with this, weren't you? Del,
I'm actually quite happy. Although I did suggest Neenan at one stage and Dean Keeley, but
because you have about 5 votes each week.
But at one stage, Bart Grimnick was sort of, mate, he was running away with it.
He was alright.
He was running away. I had to set up about 14 different Twitter accounts to get my vote for that. I didn't really, but I can't vote Grimnick because I met him in a nightclub one night, and I'll tell you what, a really, really nice guy. He got me shit-faced. He absolutely got me levered.
That makes him a good footballer then, doesn't it?
He was a good bloke.
Yeah.
He was a good bloke. But anyway, the winner was obviously Scott. Scott Cooksey.
I don't know much about him. Adam doesn't know, and I don't know if Chris does, but
no, I don't
just
really
Benning Dell really, really quickly because we need to go. Was he that awful?
Just the most famous for me.
Really?
What did I say last week about 3 worst keepers?
Was that a demonstration by Dennis? That dropped it to the floor.
Yeah. Scott Dropsy. We will never have a worse keeper at the club. Not in my lifetime or your lifetimes.
Even on the seven.
Yeah.
Really, that bad. Good stuff. So next week we're going to look at the centre-back. There could be all sorts of the worst centre-backs in Posh history. That includes DMAC time as well. So look out for the tweet from
Santos.
Adam in the next few days. I think Santos might get a few votes in that one, Chris. Yeah, absolutely. Or Exodus. What a player he was. So that was it. We're not going to do the bet of the week, but we'll put the tweet out there. Remember that is sponsored by our friends at Head to Head Barbers over in Yaxley. That is it for tonight. Thank you very much for watching. Any Wimbledon fans or Cambridge fans are watching as well. I appreciate that. Hope we beat you tomorrow night. Thanks to our sponsors, Serpentine Green Shopping Centre, Head to Head Barbers, and the spicemarket.co.uk. We will see you all next week of the Posh.
Posh.